ADC, where I want to talk about some of the early map movements for these two teams. And hey, surprise! If you're here for Ready Check, I'm back, and I'm here to analyze this clip that we've got right here. Now, pre-match expectations was so much talking about the top lane matchup and how important Alphari versus BrokenBlade was going to be to the two teams. And we saw both Selfmade and Jankos put a huge focus on the top side in this clip. We also wanted to specifically highlight the duo of Selfmade and Labrov and the impact they can have throughout. So in this clip, we had both junglers very clearly trying to move up towards the top lane and support each other right at the start here. And the lane gets put in a really awkward position for Alphari, where it pushes in against him. He's going to end up teleporting back up towards the top side of the map, and he actually goes for an immediate engage onto BrokenBlade. Now, this is important specifically because he's trying to make this top lane matchup very, very volatile. If you see the bot lane right now, enemy duo is going to be recalling, and very shortly, Labrov is going to be on the move as well. And this duo gets set up for Labrov and Selfmade to move up towards topside and set up a long sequence that makes this match super, super exciting. Again, Alphari goes very heavy on the fight, almost ends up falling, right? It gets very nervous, and BrokenBlade even considers going for a recall himself. But you look at the minimap, and again, these guys are right here, ready to set up a dive. And it looks a little bit awkward, I think, because Selfmade is on the wrong side of the wall to Labrov, but he's really there to make sure Alphari doesn't get engaged on, and to make sure that Labrov can potentially threaten a dive when the time comes. Now, Alphari, he's pretty low HP, so he comes down to pick up that fruit for himself, and Selfmade actually takes up priority to push the lane in. They need Alphari to have this HP in order to set up the dive, and they don't care that everyone knows Selfmade is top lane because he hits level 6 off of that, and Labrov is here on the dive. Even though Jankos gets the right read that these players are coming into the top side of the map, maybe he doesn't expect Labrov there, and this dive is executed to perfection. But it could have not have happened without Labrov and Selfmade working great together, without Alphari making the lane very, very volatile, and with all the honey fruit and push shenanigans. That was a very good sequence from Vitality in order to get those kills.
Expertly played, and of course we're going to get to it. They didn't end up winning the game, but I do want to just tag on to that specifically because it's something that you, Georgia, were also very vocal about at the top of the day, and I think everyone was. That tandem between the jungle and the support in Labrov and Selfmade didn't really come to fruition last week. This is much better from them in the early game.
I think that was flawlessly played by both of them. I felt like Labrov was on point with his roams, he was on point with his picks, and yes, a few things can always go wrong, but the fact that we see them from the very get-go working together and pulling off such a fantastic clean dive, I think it's a telltale for the rest of the series.
Yeah, and I think the Vitality early game is something that hasn't gone well for the entire season, right? So this is a good sign. Let's then zoom out and see what happened in the rest of the game and maybe look at these picks and bans. The Zeri is something that immediately popped in. Of course, G2 ended up banning it a lot last week, even when they were on blue side. So now we see something else being thrown in the mix. But as far as surprises go, it's no surprise that they would pick a Zeri, right?
No, definitely not. High priority on the blue side for sure. I also think that, like Caster talked about a lot, really strong team fight comp from G2. We saw that play out much later in the game as well, with them sort of clawing their way back in. And importantly too, like getting this top lane matchup, this is something that looked a little bit readable. Alphari saving the counter pick on red side to get the Camille into the Gnar. We saw that play out very, very well for Alphari in terms of getting that advantage with the jungle attention top side too.
And I'm going to go back again to the Caps and Jankos tour, because it might not seem like they're coordinating here to do something, but they're both very neutralizing picks. You can blind pick Veigar here very well and just chill in your jungle and just shadow whichever lane is in danger, which Jankos did very, very, very well every time Selfmade would move on the map. And then Caps with the Lissandra, which is like your typical counter when your opponent wants to play LeBlanc to just pin her down.
Yeah, and we saw that actually a couple times last week too, when the LeBlanc was, you know, not getting banned and Humanoid was playing that. Like G2 would set up plays around mid lane where they would wait for LeBlanc to jump in, and that's when they attack and go for the gank. And Lissandra's a great champion to enable them to do that.
And it's also a champion on which you have to have a fair bit of team cohesion, I would say, right? And I feel like they played the waiting game in this game really well, because as we're going to see right now, after that early game from Vitality, this crazy fight happens in the mid lane where everyone goes, I want to say ham, right? And Vitality ends up winning it, putting G2 even further behind.
Yeah, I mean, this was a really high-level fight, especially at the start. I felt like with some of the execution, you know, the timings of like Perkz trying to bounce in, Caps as well on the other side. But it did seem like the aggression got a little bit out of control for Vitality. The fight was was going super well for them at the start. They kept diving on through, but the resets from Jankos really cut them down in tandem with the turret shots.
I'm not gonna lie, I was getting flashbacks from Inspired's pentakill last season on the Veigar, and I'm like, it's happening again, guys.
Yeah, but I think you also start to see kind of G2 knowing, feeling confident that they can win fights. At that point in time, the gold was starting to get equalized, and then we see the great patience game. They buy their stopwatches and they bide their time.
I mean, okay, we talked about G2 at the very start of the day, and we mentioned how they just love to team fight, and this is what they're really good at. Now, of course, Perkz Dynat Dragon did ruin that part of my telestrator, but I've got another one for you. G2 bought 4 stopwatches on the 3rd dragon that spawned in the game, and they kept them until the 4th one, which was going to be Soul Point. Luckily for them, they didn't have to use them, though, because they caught Perkz in the river, and then they completely dissipated the fight. Now, though, because Vitality are all around this area and they're trying to go for the Baron, you see that Alphari is trying to pull on a flank on a G2 that's most likely going to enter from 2 ways. One is the river, and the other one is, of course, this choke point. Now, what's really important here is that Alphari has the right idea, because Zeri is going to walk through that choke point, and then you can use your LeBlanc to capitalize on a kill. But stopwatches. So as I keep on playing this fight, wait, I did promise my producer that I was gonna do that, so I'm gonna try to, okay? There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Times 5. There you go. Thank you very much. I'm gonna continue playing the clip right now. So as you can see, Alphari is actually going to get a pick onto Flakked right here the second he starts walking back. But the problem is, boom. Straight after the Nautilus ultimate is about to hit, he presses the stopwatch button. And just because you have the Lissandra to sort of cover all this space right here into the choke point, Vitality cannot necessarily really win this fight. So G2 were very patient. They bought the stopwatches. They knew exactly how to be patient, not pick fights, and use them at the right moment. The second this fight is over, you grab the Baron, and it's pretty much a good game, well played. So I feel like G2 knew exactly their game plan, and they used their stopwatches to perfection. It was really cool to see a 650 gold item pretty much winning the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, of course, the question is, we saw it all in the inventory, but how hard is it to play versus it, even if you know they have it, because you still can't predict when they're going to pop it?
You press tab, figure out what's going to happen. I mean, I felt like it felt so bad to have that Camille like trying to dive into a backline. Everyone's pressing the stopwatch.
Oh, so frustrating, but they won't make that mistake again. They're going to buy him as well. Thank you very much for that breakdown. G2 fighting their way back into this game. Can Vitality bring it back in game 2? Let's send it over to Medic for picks and bans.
Come back, Trouble.
Just me. These two guys, silence. I expect Sjokz said to Medic.
Muted.
We believe in Sjokz.
All you. Take it away.
Okay, here we go. So, League of Legends. It's a dangerous game for some and an incredible game for others. The question is, which side will you be on today? Will you be dangerous or will you be on the incredible side?
User joined your channel. All right, so
yeah, let's talk about the draft. Medic, bad start. Very
well,
bad
we haven't even got to the draft. We've got the music still to go. This is the like preamble to the draft section.
That's a fair point. But what you could sit there and say is, wow, G2, good draft, bad draft, thoughts, Vitality, good draft, bad draft,
well,
thoughts.
see, here's the thing, right? As a Redditor,
yeah,
great draft from G2, they won.
Right.
Vitality lost.
Genius.
Therefore, bad draft.
Bad draft.
Yeah.
Smart.
But draft is going to be so important in this game too because of flexibility and what these teams have shown and what the European teams have shown. There's always like a trend in a best of 5. It's like almost like you just dig deep into it and you find one champion or two champions that is just like floating between both these teams' heads. You think of the Fnatic series, LeBlanc is going to be the thing that I think about when I think of G2 versus Fnatic. G2 had 4 answers, only one of them worked. Fnatic got them 4 games, they won. Now up against Vitality, they've answered the LeBlanc. Does Vitality want to run it back and say, screw, you know, we can still play LeBlanc. We're going to do it anyway. We're just going to pick it on 3 maybe and ban Lissandra. But I expect Vitality to have a completely different approach now. They probably pick blue side. They look for the first pick Zeri. Maybe they are the ones who have to answer the LeBlanc.
Do you think Perkz is just like, this is the second time now I've done game 1 LeBlanc. My win rate is being ruined.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pick this champ anymore because it keeps getting griefed.
Wasn't it Perkz on PGL who said, Humanoid got LeBlanc 4 times in a row. She's actually not that busted a champion. Maybe he was just trying to prove it. You know, yeah. He's just trying to back up his words. As we get on to the draft for game 2 of this best of 5. lads, time to lock it in. As we see Vitality and G2 start to lock in their picks and bans. The LeBlanc possibility that we've talked about a little bit. What else are we expecting to see? Now, Lucian banned out when he didn't get banned in game 1, nor did he get picked by either team.
They might be scared of the red side Lucian triple flex. Maybe Vitality just kind of showing to G2 already in game 1. Something maybe we didn't think about was Lucian, G2, Vitality didn't pick it. G2 didn't ban it. Maybe they know that they don't play it, and now G2 are the ones who are going to see Lucian bans happen against them every time they're on red side. But there's a Zeri ban. Won't let that go through. They already won with it. They don't want to play against it. LeBlanc banned away. Something we were just talking about, of course.
Yeah.
Won't be seen in this series.
Yeah, very interesting that Vitality is actually the team to ban it. G2 going to stick with the Twisted Fate ban. A lot of junglers that were removed in game 1 are going to be left up and available this time around. The Olaf, Volibear were both big targets.
Hecarim.
Yeah, Hecarim is another one that's actually currently still up and available. The Jinx was another one that was removed from Vitality. What will be their final ban here with a lot of options left?
If they don't ban Hecarim, hold my breath for a second, the Karma, that's exactly what I was going to talk about. G2 could just slam in Hecarim, Karma 1-2, flex the Karma, have a Hecarim already, happy days. Vitality want to deny that combo already. Maybe they think Hecarim is not that strong if there's no Karma by his side. So maybe they're willing to let it go through. We'll see what G2 do, because of course, like I said, a lot of junglers up. There's the Gnar ban. So I think what G2 are doing there is saying, we've won game 1 with blue side Gnar. Why did we pick Gnar? Because we're blind picking on 4. Now you have even less blind pick tops on 4-5 as Vitality take the Hecarim.
Definitely still have that blind pick jungler though. Hecarim very strong at the moment, especially with an enchanter to back him up. Something like the Karma that we've already seen banned out. The Zilean, as you say, a Yuumi also a possibility, although with the Yuumi, with the Zeri banned away, Yuumi is less likely down towards that bottom lane.
The Jinx, no real surprise here, coming out from Flakked and pairing up with the Volibear. So often considered a pretty good answer into things like the Lee Sin, which so far in our playoffs has become less and less of a priority as the days have gone by. The favoring of the Volibear seems to have risen, mainly because of his ability to set up for those tower dives as well, those stacked waves, being able to make those plays once you've got those ultimates available, very powerful to either bot or top side of the map, and does very well into many of the early game junglers too.
Yeah, I think both these teams have different priors looking at their early 1-2s. You know, Jinx for G2, Aphelios coming out for Vitality. Of course, they have different scrim bubbles, right? You're facing against each other on the weekend. You're never scrimming each other. You're scrimming other teams. Maybe you have different scrim metas coming into this series. G2 is going to insta-lock the Jinx Volibear there. See Aphelios answer. Do they want to run back the Nautilus is the question, because then you don't have the Enchanter support. But no, there's the Ahri blind pick. Very, very common pick in the LCK. And in the LPL as well. Veigar was the biggest answer to it in the JDG series against Weibo. That was Angel picking things like Veigar into it, and that's kind of what happened throughout the entire series. One team would blind pick Ahri, the other would pick Veigar, and Veigar would always win. I think it was 4 out of 5 games.
I still remember watching your co-stream of that, and it was one of the most biased co-streams I've ever seen in my life.
Shy.
Yeah.
I love the shy.
You're siding with Weibo, but we'll see if Caps decides the Veigar as a counter here. Instead, Sylas for Caps seems to be the lock.
Wow. Okay, this is not what I was expecting, truth be told.
I wonder if that's a flex as well.
Could be. Because you're also thinking support, aren't you?
No, I'm thinking top. Maybe if
I mean,
Vitality...
I think you should also think support.
Yeah, I think support as well, yeah. But the first thought that came to my head is, yes, Sylas mid, but also if Vitality blind pick an Ornn top, that could go top for G2 as well, because they need teamfight and Nara's already banned. So that's what I thought of.
blind pick an Ornn top. Someone's ambitious today, eh?
It'll show some flexibility in the draft, wouldn't it? Play for bot side a bit more, but big heavy teamfight coming out from Vitality already with Hecarim Aphelios. We'll see what kind of value the Sylas gets, because for now, Ahri ult's great, Hecarim ult's fine. You want to get some kind of bigger ultimate. You know, Malphite's the one that comes to everyone's mind. Of course, Vitality now, when you're drafting against the Sylas, you think to yourselves, well, I don't really want to give him a Sylas ult and a Malphite blind pick or something like that, right? So you're a little bit more cognizant as to what you pick.
Ooh, the Jace ban. You would assume that this is one of the safer blind picks that Vitality would take into consideration, but at the same time, we also know that BrokenBlade prays every top lane champion and probably has a counter pick for whatever it is that you want to draft. So Vitality seem to just be trying to limit their options as much as possible and try and remove some of those safer options. Let's see what direction like Gangplank is something they could think about. Of course, you did talk about strong ultimates that Sylas could steal. That is one of them.
I think GP is definitely the one that comes to mind. GP Hecarim into Jinx just sounds horrible for the Jinx in teamfights, and it would be Alphari's go-to blind pick, I would presume, looking at the series in playoffs they had. I mean, Gnar is obviously the first go-to, but that's banned away. Jax is more so of a counter. Camille blind pick's pretty tough if you're going to get countered as well. So we'll see what they opt to do, but for now, I think G2 wisest choice here is just go for support, something like Leona.
I wouldn't mind a Zilean here either. Just because of the threat on the Jinx, having a Zilean to give yourself a little bit more protection when you get round to teamfights, and the speed up with the Jinx can work well. Rakan, of course, gives you a bit more follow-up engage, which, as you said with the Leona, is something perhaps they're looking for and something they don't want to get from the top lane.
My question is, does Labrov want to pick Zilean into the Rakan? We'll see if he opts to do so. Of course, you're going to slow the Rakan when he tries to go in.
That's hell.
It's a pretty horrible matchup, and of course, you get the push on blue side then with the Aphelios Zilean. We'll see what does end up happening, though. Vitality gonna blind pick top and support now. Blind pick top, and of course can counter pick support.
Yep. Having a look now. As Medic talks to his shoes.
There's an extra.
Zilean! The Zilean is going to be locked in.
Let's pick up the base down. There it is.
Yes.
My one trick.
It's the... Which one? You've got so many at this point. But yes, we talked about it being a good answer into the Rakan. It synergizes very well with the Hecarim as well. And overall, very solid pick. In terms of roaming power, obviously not as strong as compared to the amount of utility that the Nautilus
Okay,
provide.
Camille.
The fact that he's going for is that an instant Jax walk-in?
That could be a Jack, could be a Fiora as well. We'll see what BrokenBlade opts into. You have a lot of counters into the
Fiora,
Camille.
I mean, yeah.
Some kind of Camille
Yone,
side laner.
Consider that.
Yeah, Yone,
like
Jax. There it is. I think Jax makes the most sense. We're going to get Camille into Jax, baby. Okay, so Vitality, really good team fight. Have a little bit of pick potential with Ahri. Can catch side lanes as well with Ahri and Camille, of course, but you have insane engage, and you have Aphelios Zilean to kite back if you want to. G2, really powerful side lanes as well. Rakan does bring up your team fight a bit with Jinx, but of course, with Jax and Sylas, they can play sides as well, so both these comps kind of evenly matched. I would slightly favor Vitality though, but the problem is, I would say scaling is the issue for Vitality here, but they have a Zilean. They have a Zilean. So I feel like Zilean, Camille, they're never really going to get outscaled against the Jax.
That was kind of my impression too. Like, when you look at it, yeah, I can see like Jax side lane, yeah, really good scaling. The Sylas late game, technically you can steal away the Zilean's ultimate as well.
Yep.
You paired that up with the Jinx too, yeah. But the moment that Zilean was introduced into the draft, I was like, Zilean just makes comp scale better. He just offers so much utility into the late game. The slows, the stuns, the revival, everything. It's going to be an interesting one. Vitality have shifted a little more towards team fighting than last game. Still some side lane threat, but I think G2's pretty happy with what they've got as an answer to what Vitality have brought to the table.
It's kind of similar to what Vitality had last game. So we've got team fight versus team fight. Vitality the ones now with a lot of hard engage themselves.
Hoping for a little bit more explosiveness in the mid lane as well. Caps and Perkz, probably the two most storied players on their teams. Here we see not the Lissandra into LeBlanc matchup, instead Ahri into Sylas, two slightly more playmaking orientated picks perhaps in that mid lane. And we'll see if they can affect the game this game. Game 2, G2 versus Vitality up next. And onto the Rift we dive once again for a juicy bit of League of Legends action. Vedi, I know you want to talk. I know you want to talk, but I've got something first.
No,
please.
No, I have a really cool thing.
But it's a Jankos thing, man.
Yeah, okay.
Woohoo!
That's it.
That's
A woohoo! So he got his 1,500th kill as they were fountain diving at the end of the last game.
I thought he ended on 5.
No, he ended on 6. So congratulations, Jankos, 1,500 LEC kills.
Woohoo!
This guy, by the way, 16 of 17 playoffs he has made in his career. He is the most playoffs in the LEC of any player ever. Reckless and Hillsang just behind him at 15. But Jankos the last time he missed playoffs was 2015 on Rocket.
So seeing as we're going down memory lane, when did you start playing as a pro?
2015, 2016.
2015, 2016. So for those that may not remember at home, because these two definitely will, when Perkz first joined the league back in 2016 spring, it was actually his Ahri that became one of his most dangerous champions. The EU mids man was kind of came back and became a big topic of conversation on the broadcast, specifically because of his Ahri. He and Trick were just running around, murdering everyone on side lanes, and his mechanical proficiency on the champion was very high. But that was a long time ago. We haven't really seen much of his Ahri since then, because Ahri hasn't really been the same type of champion. But for a lot of us old school fans, it's cool to see kind of like one of the OG Ahri players back on his one of his signature champions.
Yeah, Ahri coming back into the meta this year with the changes, with the slight kind of minor rework that happened to her ult especially. And now a very skill matchup of Sylas. Any kind of Sylas into mage or assassin matchup is always skill matchup. We'll see if Cap says his kind of famous line again. and say back to Lissandra as he plays Sylas into a AP Assassin. We'll see if he gets the kill and says that to Perkz this time around. But for now, mid push for Vitality. And G2 have the bot push early on, it looks like. Junglers pathing opposite sides again.
Interesting little discrepancy in terms of trinkets from both these teams. Jankos and Flakked going for sweepers early doors after putting their wards down. You can see Vitality, no sweepers on them at all. So there is a possibility that G2 can deny some of this early vision and sort of the wards that you see placed around the Razor Beaks like this one just below Jankos.
Yeah, and just a quick note on the Camille Jax matchup. A lot of people, the second they see a blind pick Camille, everyone's first instinct is Jax. I just want to answer that question as to why. I mean, Jax just kind of dodged down on Camille. You can stop her passive. You already win trades. You have lethal tempo if the trades go too far. So the second you hit 1 or 2 items, you're always going to win side lane against Camille. Your champ's kit just naturally counters hers. Does that mean Camille is useless? No. It means that Camille needs to avoid the Jax a little bit. She's fine for the first few levels. Level 1 to like 7, 8, 9. She's pretty much fine. The second she gets her first item, what she wants to do is play for team fights because she's just a better team fighter than Jax. So we'll see Alphari move out of his lane, try to force something mid, and BrokenBlade try to be the split push threat.
Yeah, Targamas looking for something around the mid lane here. We'll have W and E. Needs to use that W to clear this wall, though. Gets away. Perkz will still have the charm, but Time was able to walk to safety as Labrov and Selfmade found him out.
So nothing too crazy happening. Keep my eyes on Jankos right now as he secures that topside grab. We'll be able to get a grab this time around, as he did not lose his early flash, and you can see Caps just being bullied out in the early laning phase. Surprised he chose not to go for the corrupting pot as Caps. Ooh, looks for the chains.
Good charm
Nice
as well.
charm.
Good
Perkz,
escape by Perkz.
Perkz played that very well. He used the extra mobility that you get from W to sidestep away from the chains, and then he held his charm onto the only remaining CC that was Jankos. Jankos could have flash stunned, but given that Caps didn't have chain, there was not going to be as much follow-up, so decided not to commit.
Jankos looking mid again, uses the sweeper, will clear out Perkz' ward. Perkz under a little bit of pressure here. G2 had early bot push, Targamas moved towards mid, and then Jankos full cleared into mid as well. Selfmade playing a champion that just wants to clear and base, get his first item boots, and then look for things on the map. So Vitality kind of weathering the storm for now. Perkz having the push is really, really important here for Vitality because last game he didn't really have that much impact. He couldn't find any picks, didn't really have any kills, couldn't get mid push either, never really found setups on the enemy mid. And I think Perkz saw Caps miss the cannon there and then dropped the G2 logo just to taunt him a bit. I would love to see the in-game chat before and after these games. Perkz playing with Caps a bit now. Targamas Jankos still around mid.
It's such a great matchup. Yeah. We're very lucky in Europe to have the Caps versus Perkz rivalry. The fact that it was Caps that dethroned Perkz to then becoming teammates to then once again being rivals. You can see their head-to-head is in favor of Caps all time, but it is Perkz that is currently in the lead when it comes to titles. By and large, by stealing caps away from Perkz, stealing caps away from Fnatic rather, and now they find themselves on opposite sides of the rift once more. In game 1, it really was Caps that had the advantage pretty much throughout. We'll see if the same thing can happen again.
Yeah, we heard it in the teaser. It's in Perkz' blood to stop G2 from ever getting a title while he's in Europe ever again. As Selfmade is looking for Jankos.
I always find that an odd thing for your son's favorite uncle to say, but obviously Perkz has his reasons that he wants to take it. The charm coming out onto Caps as Perkz is forced back towards his minion way.
I understood that reference.
Excellent.
Oh, wait, Caps, big trade.
Perkz.
He's
has level 6 in one creep. There it is, level 6.
It looks for it. Caps dashes away.
Oh, Perkz was really looking for it. Caps has to dash.
Looking for it. He
could look for the E-flash, so Caps has to be quick on the fingers to react. But the problem that Perkz has now, oh, another tower shot. Caps can start to walk forwards.
He's going to die.
He could level up and take Perkz' ult, so he has to call Selfmade. Jankos is on the way.
Support's
Targamas
on the way. Everyone's
is coming
on the way.
too. Mid lane is Armageddon for both sides.
Targamas will be a little bit longer before he can get hit. Jankos looking for the thundering roar. Caps going in, steals away the onslaught shadow. Selfmade with a good ghost will escape from the abscond abduct.
I wonder if he procs phase rush there as well. He had so much move speed or Nimbus Cloak, something. He got a little bit of bonus move speed there with the tier 2 boots and dodges away.
So, if anyone at home has ever seen Caps stream solo queue, that's how he plays solo queue. He's like, yeah, I'm one hit from death, but I'll be fine. I will say the difference between solo queue and competitive is he has a team that's very quick to collapse. Speaking of, Alphari could get collapsed on right now.
Should be able to jump away from this one. BrokenBlade still chasing him down. No!
Solo kill in the top lane by BrokenBlade in the Jax Camille matchup. That's horrific for Vitality in the early game.
That's Sheen in power. That is Sheen in power right there. The W into the Sheen proc. That was just disgusting from BrokenBlade.
I thought that Alphari may have even been able to either turn that around or escape, but BrokenBlade, the flash commitment just didn't give him the opportunity. Really great awareness there from BrokenBlade. showcasing his understanding of the matchup. And let's have a quick look back.
Yeah, so Alphari, I think, didn't expect the damage. You can see how calm he is here. He gets stunned up, thinks, okay, I'll just trade away by queuing him. And that's what he does. Drops the Q, runs away, gets the bonus move speed, tries to slow him with a W, and he thinks he's fine here. But the flash forwards, the auto W into flash auto.
Yeah, you're
Alphari,
right.
of course, if he has flash, he can react instantly to BrokenBlade's flash and maybe get away. But the problem is he doesn't, so BrokenBlade gets that early kill as Caps uses the ult, which is probably timing out to get the wave.
I think you're completely right. Alphari was not expecting that burst to come through and completely caught him off guard. I wonder if that was also the... Never mind.
Never mind.
So
Yeah.
Big damage.
Yes, Medic.
no, it's like, yeah. Go.
Oh, I thought you had a point.
Oh no, I was just.
It's okay.
You know,
It's okay. It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. Let's go.
Let's reset. The big
go.
dragon is now... Stop it.
Let me in.
Yeah. Okay, I will now speak, and then Mark, you can follow.
you.
Vitality are committing to the top dive
There's
right
a
now.
fight
Hang on a
happening,
second.
Vedius. It's my turn to speak. Alphari here. Tanking the tower, a couple of shots. Counter strike. Flashed away by Labrov. BrokenBlade still being chased here. Grandmaster's Might was used. Targamas coming in as well. Alphari knocked up. Used the Hexagolden Maiden to dodge it himself.
Oh, Caps is coming, so is
failed
Jankos.
dive, as you say. Caps on the way. Can't see away the Hecarim ultimate quite yet as Alphari's chased Targamas with the Ignite ticking away. Jankos will take that one. Caps still on the chase here, looking for Labrov under the tower, but can't quite get close enough to put that final bit of damage down.
Disastrous early game for Vitality. First a solo kill, and then what happens is a cross-map play. G2 are on the Dragon. Vitality think, okay, they're on Drake, let's 3-man dive top. It took so long to commit.
Wait. Oh, okay. There was some mega death rocket happening, and I thought Labrov was going to base back into it, but his base was
Was it
about
flying
a second
towards
up.
the Nexus,
It was
was it?
literally going towards the Nexus. I was like, oh my goodness, this will be amazing.
Those are the best ones when he timed their recall to hit, but anyway, looks like it won't. So 2 kills to G2. Alphari falling short in this early game, just losing out on the 1v1, and then the dive just doesn't work in their favor. G2 get a Dragon, and Jankos runs to the top side of the map, gets the kill, and then gets a Herald as well. So we'll see if they can stop him here. He has ult and flash.
Yeah, he can just ult across this wall. Will be charmed back. The chase is on. Perkz going to dive forward with the Spirit Rush, but can't go any deeper. Jankos able to secure the Rift Herald.
Perkz will get... Well, he will get interfered while returning to the mid lane by Targamas and Caps. Targamas this time much quicker in terms of his rotations to the map. Labrov still on level 4 for the time being, but G2 doing an incredible job in this early game. Started off with that solo kill, but their response and BrokenBlade just soaking up the pressure with this Jax. Doing a fantastic job of creating this strong side of the map for G2, while the rest still kind of quietly continues to farm up. Vitality still getting small CS leads in mid and bot, but hold the gold lead for now.
Yeah, we'll see what the early game can transition into. We saw Vitality having the early lead last time around. Carzzy playing really aggressive here, stepping up in the 1v2. Knows Labrov is close by, who is a full level from 6, but once he gets that level up, can play even more aggressive. But like I said, Vedius, lanes feel pretty stable other than top for now.
That top lane matchup is one we've
comes
been looking
Jankos
at a
once
lot.
again.
Yeah. Jankos knows where his bread is buttered here as the counter-strike comes in. Alphari will get stunned up, will get locked up, and BrokenBlade is on the board once again.
See, the problem for Alphari is if he uses his E at the wrong time, he's just going to get interrupted anyway. So he has to try and tank the initial damage and then save his E for afterwards. But you can see the burst is too much. He dies again.
Caps going in, he's charmed, Selfmade on the chase. Spirit Rush stolen away, but Selfmade still has the Onslaught of Shadows, but not the mana to cast it. Instead, he will bring around the side. 2v2 in the bottom lane as Carzzy takes the kill.
So it looked disastrous in the top side for Vitality. Alphari now 0-3-0. G2 targeting him after that solo kill, but bot is winning. Mid is now in a great state for Vitality as well. So this early game evened up. BrokenBlade looking for Selfmade.
Selfmade, not enough mana to cast his ultimate here. Not enough mana to get away!
Another solo kill for BrokenBlade. A full tower for BrokenBlade. Jankos is looking for Perkz. Super Mega Death Rocket. Flying towards the base
Guys,
again.
Just
he blocked
okay.
it.
Okay, observers, I thought you were trolling us, but that was cool. That was nice play from Carzzy to block
I
it.
don't know if Labrov would have died, but he would have been very close. He was regenning. Good block from Carzzy. Not sure where this replay is going to tend. It's going to send us into the bot lane.
So let's have a look back at exactly how this one happened. The double stun
Wow.
from Labrov and Targamas then committing. I think the stun wasn't even the... that was really well played by Carzzy. Landing the double root once Targamas overcommits into the ultimate was more than enough burst to secure that kill.
Yeah, and he pre-cast his ultimate on top of Flakked because he knows Targamas is going to use his E2 to get back to him. So he lands the explosion, Targamas dies, and mid and bot in a great state for Vitality. The problem is, Vitality want to force fights, and they want to make sure the 2 things happen. 1, they have numbers advantage mid with Alphari giving up waves to make sure they can 5v4. And 2, make sure that Jax isn't so far ahead that he can end the game on side lane.
Carzzy Gale forces forward, flash in by Jankos, counter flash by Carzzy. There's the cleanse. The chase is still on. The storm is brought down. onto Carzzy's head as Flakked takes the kill.
Well, Jankos giving a new definition to what a bear hug looks like. That was all
it's the rune bears in Elden Ring.
Oh, hang on, Caps.
Caps is playing with no fear in this mid matchup. Every single time the camera pans there, he's dashing off the Perkz with the Frost misses.
Looks for the kill, can't quite get the damage of the chrono shift in time. Caps steals away an ultimate, but doesn't even have the time to cast it.
Maybe Caps playing a little bit over-aggressive in this mid matchup. That's another kill that backfires onto him. Labrov's there with the ultimate in time, and Perkz ever frosting to the side. Maybe he thought he had a window with that mistake.
But I'm getting I'm getting Claps vibes, you know what I mean? He's feeling it, you know? He's constantly looking for those duels.
First one must become Craps to become Claps.
Exactly. It's a process, you know?
It's just reminiscent to the first time he played against Perkz as well. I remember your call, Vedi. Caps just solo killed Perkz under the tower. He was always playing on the edge. Perhaps he's going to be able to do it here again as the fight erupts in the bottom lane. Quickness coming out from Targamas. And he is done for as Selfmade secures that kill.
So Vitality capitalizing on G2's mistakes, but look at top lane right now. Alphari can't leave his tier 2. The second he commits anywhere on the map, BrokenBlade's going to take that tower in the blink of an eye. He has a ping cord as well, so a lot of vision to work with. And as I was saying before, Vitality want to make sure they play for 5v4s, and they want to make sure Jax is not that far ahead to make sure he can kind of avoid him ending on side or 1v2ing. But the problem is BrokenBlade is just so accelerated right now.
It's the dreaded solo queue sound. We've all heard it. The inevitable thonk.
Yeah.
The thonk is coming, okay? And when you hear it bashing on the side lane towers, you know that your base is in danger, and it's something that Vitality will have to keep track of throughout this game. They're going to have to send multiple members, and this is going to give G2 windows to secure these neutrals. They've been able to get the first 2 Drakes, they secured the first Herald, they've gotten themselves the first tower, and even though they have given over a couple of kills, Selfmade is getting stronger as this game progresses. You can see Carzzy already completed the Gale Force ahead of his AD carry counterpart. This Jax is always going to be an issue that Vitality need to find an answer for.
For anyone at home wondering what on earth does he mean by the thonk as the charm lands into the Everfrost, into Labrov with a follow-up stun, into Caps being locked up here. Targamas looking for the chase in as well. Perkz locked up, able to Spirit Rush away. Caps still surviving on 100 HP, but it's not enough to escape from Perkz, who picks up his first kill of the game. BrokenBlade looking for a bit of thonking in the bottom lane as Carzzy Gale forces away. The flash in power, counter-strike. Your sentries can do nothing against the BrokenBlade.
Oh, it must be so frustrating to play against the Jax when you're an AD carry with no summoners. BrokenBlade makes it look easy. Jankos now looking onto Perkz, who has the flash. Labrov has ult as well.
Everfrost used, charm goes wide. Perkz perhaps the target, but instead Labrov is the one they wanted to lock down because he's got the chrono shift. If you stun him up, he can't use that ult. He can't bring back Perkz back to life, but he can still flash away and survive the fight.
Summoner's now gone for both Labrov and Perkz. G2, they are not slowing down with this aggression. They've moved BrokenBlade out of the top lane to find that kill bot and another tower. Even though Perkz is able to find that kill onto Caps with the assistance of his support, it does not matter because immediately G2 is back out onto the map looking for plays themselves. G2, while they are making some slight mistakes, it's turning into that bloodbath that you expected, Caedrel.
Yeah, completely different story from game 1. Perkz so far ahead in this mid matchup now has the CS lead, was pushing Caps in the majority of the game. Caps just leveled up here. Flakked is going to get this mid tier 1, which should help G2 play around the map with all 3 outers down. But mid lane is ahead for Vitality, and that's important because Perkz can manage side lanes. He can move around the map. He can match into the Jax and play a little bit safe to clear waves while Alphari tries to scale a bit. Look at the gold difference in top lane, 3,000 in favor of BrokenBlade.
Alongside that, Flakked about 1,000 gold ahead in the AD carry position. Only mid lane and jungle really ahead for Vitality. 1.2k for Perkz, 600 for Selfmade. And G2 with a 2,000 gold lead. BrokenBlade, a terror on the side lane. Frozen Heart now complete on him.
Look at this. G2 stacking up towards the top side of the map, immediately going to drop this Herald down, secure themselves another tower, funnel all this additional gold into into 2 carries of G2. And look, BrokenBlade going to catch mids. G2's lane assignments. They're playing across 2 lanes right now. The cross map is going to happen from Perkz, but they're going to keep pushing this in.
Yeah, they can go for more here. BrokenBlade has TP himself. Targamas is backtracking there. Alphari.
The chase is on. Alphari rooted with the Everfrost. He gets the shield, but the Hextech ultimatum underneath the towers. The TP comes in from G2. The chrono shift on Alphari will keep him alive for the moment as the Rift Herald will get another charge, and G2 will back away without taking the inhibitor.
Oh, but I think the tower is what they wanted. A 16-minute inhibitor would be very dangerous to play with because you can never really farm that lane, and it allows Vitality to scale up. Alphari could just sit there clearing waves all game long.
They're going to let it die.
They're going to let it die. It's really smart play there from Vitality. So maybe a blunder here by G2, overextending Selfmade, stopping some of the backs as well before this dragon spawns in 2 minutes, just trying to slow G2 down as much as possible. So now we'll have to keep our eyes on top lane, the top wave. Alphari now the same level as BrokenBlade despite being down almost 3,000 gold. Selfmade looking for Jankos.
Chase is on. Selfmade gets onto the back line. Jankos, though, with the Storm bringer, will be able to escape I want to talk a little bit about that side lane, about that inhibitor, because we often talk about how it's bad to take an inhibitor in the early game. Can you guys just break it down for us why exactly it's not always the best idea?
So basically what happens is the waves auto push in because they have super minions, and it's so early in the game that you can't threaten an end onto the Nexus. Maybe BrokenBlade with TP, if there's like a 2-stacking wave in top lane, they can look for some kind of end, but it's very, very difficult. And it just allows the enemy top laner to free farm. He can just let the waves continuously come into him, and G2 have to play on 2 lanes, share experience, share gold, Selfmade, no ultimate.
Perkz looking for the charm's going to land onto Flakked. Quickness coming in from Targamas, the Everfrost as well. Caps chased out towards the bottom side as Carzzy puts the damage down with the Infernum. Alphari still pushing in a side lane by himself. G2 forced low, Caps about 300 HP.
And in situations like this, that is great for Vitality, where they're not investing a lot, but they're actually slowing G2 down a lot as another fight is kicking off.
I mean, BrokenBlade's in the middle of 4 members of Vitality here, and I'm pretty sure he wants that fight. Counter-strike with the stuns of Mega Death Rocket coming in as well. TP now by Alphari. They look to try and turn this one around. BrokenBlade low, doesn't have a flash, doesn't have anywhere to go. Leap strikes away, but the Hexagon made a wall up in place, and that's shut down. 2 quick kills over to Vitality. Caps said it, Vedi. It was perfect for them, but Caps is trying to turn it back around for G2. Flakked with the quick, with the speed up, looking for the damage here onto Perkz. Caps crashing forward and will give the kill over to Flakked.
Oh, it looks really bad for G2. As soon as Alphari landed, the ultimate was so clean to land onto BrokenBlade. A big shutdown into his pocket, but Caps arrives and they turn the fight.
Big team fight win once again for G2. They will be able to convert this into a Drake once members respawn. Selfmade was forced out of the fight so early, and it looks scattered. I thought the expectation for Vitality here was just stall, be disruptive, be a pain for G2 so that Alphari can keep farming on a side lane. But now they don't have teleport. Now there's a big wave stacking on the top side of the map. It's going to be very difficult for them to contest this Drake and put G2 on soul point.
I think it was a 3-for-3 though, so I actually favor Vitality maybe in that play because of the shutdowns. This is the problem with the inhibitor. There's so many minions that they can farm up. A lot of gold going into Vitality's pocket after that play. The bad side is, because top is pushing automatically, you will lose dragons. G2 pretty much guaranteed this, whatever happened on the map, because of the top waves. That puts them on soul point. So let's look at this one again.
So I think in this situation, Vitality is just looking for whatever they can get. You can see a very low health member, Sylas, looking to go back to base, then TP back in. Numbers advantage initially for Vitality, but BrokenBlade is so strong, G2's not afraid to commit to the fight. Then the TP comes through, Flakked is in a bit of an awkward position, and again, Vitality still know that they have the numbers advantage, but Selfmade's ultimate never gets popped, which means that he doesn't actually reset. Now we're in a 4v4, and Caps finds the flank.
Yeah, the biggest problem here was Labrov used the ultimate earlier on to try and save Selfmade, who's just basing, so it's kind of like a 4v5 in favor of G2 because Selfmade's forced to back away. They don't have ultimate on Labrov either, so a lot of resources missing there for Vitality. Very luckily they actually went out pretty even. G2 now sieging onto mid.
Perkz has to use the Spirit Rush to get away. Flank available here
Selfmade.
from Selfmade on sort of shadows, but where's the follow-up? There's no charm for Perkz right now, and Caps is able to just dodge away. Jankos has the Stormbringer over the tower. There's the charm coming out as well as Jankos is blocked up with the double guns. And Alphari trying to join this fight from the side, can't quite find it as of yet.
You might be wondering, why is the pace of the game just suddenly escalated to maximum levels? It's because top waves keep pushing in. G2 have to force to stop Vitality catching the waves. Now they're going to go Baron. Look at the waves in top. Vitality, they only have TP on Perkz. He could base and catch that wave, but then he can TP in afterwards. How do they respond?
Pressure is on for Vitality, and G2 are doing a great job of just keeping that pressure up. Baron now, 5k HP.
Darkness for Vitality, they don't know yet. They put the control ward in. Selfmade, no ultimate to get in here. The quickness coming out from Targamas, looking for the backline. Caps in there already, but he's already shut down. 1-for-1 traded. Labrov has gone down as well. Targamas getting chased by Alphari. Does he dive in? Yes, he does. But he's met by BrokenBlade, and the thonk continues. The stopwatch will keep Alphari alive, but now Jankos gets away. The base TP possibly, but BrokenBlade. Caps still 25 seconds away. You don't really want a TP for this, but you still have the option if you're G2.
Yeah, Vitality are very aware. There's pings coming onto the Nexus. BrokenBlade just based. He could TP in right now, so they're saying to themselves, oh, we can't do this Baron, even though Caps is dead, even though Jankos is low, and we have vision. We have to back away and clear the waves. The pace of this game is going to continue while this inhibitor's down, and I think G2, a lot of individual errors there. Caps turning on his own. Labrov didn't ult himself when he got engaged on. A couple mistakes there from both sides.
This is now the last wave, though, making its way down top lane that will be led by a super minion. You can see that the inhibitor is respawning in 15 seconds. Just above the minimap, we have that timer for you. And this will alleviate some of the pressure away from Vitality. Let's have a quick look at the gold, please, observers, after this replay.
So look at this. G2 have the Baron in their sights. They could look for a finisher. Caps solo turns onto Labrov here. Misses the ultimate, I believe, as well, as Labrov flashes away because he sidesteps it. And now it's in an awkward spot where Caps is dead. And look at... Hang on, we've got Perkz on a side lane, BrokenBlade.
Perkz has flash, has the Spirit Rush, Counter-Strike coming out. Perkz doesn't get away from the first charm. The Abscond up just wide because of that flash.
Vedius, you were talking about that top inhibitor respawn, but I think the damage has kind of been done. And when I say damage, I mean look at BrokenBlade's CS numbers. He's almost even with Alphari at 22 minutes. This Jax, if that top inhib didn't die and he could catch these side waves, he would be at around 200 to 220 CS right now. So he's been forced to group up so many times, and now he can actually start pushing these sides.
Still a 2,000 gold difference in that top lane though, and also Flakked 2,000 gold ahead of Carzzy. He's got 2.5 completed items. Carzzy's only just finished the Lord Dominic's. He needs good guns for this next fight, and he needs to not be caught out by Caps, who is waiting in the darkness here. Carzzy's going to take the long way round.
See what he can get done. Perkz, no ultimate, no flash. If he tries to defend that, sitting engaged upon, smartly backs away. Jankos.
Looking for some damage here. Selfmade, of course, does still have the ultimate. No ghost for him. Flashes coming up across the board. BrokenBlade, Jankos, and Targamas lacking theirs. Carzzy's about to come off cooldown. Perkz, of course, still a while away from having his backup, but that Spirit Rush is a pseudo flash for the Ahri in any fight that does begin.
Yeah, what I was going to say there was while all this sieging happened in mid, Labrov sneakily went to the top side of the map, placed wards around Baron. There's only one left over the pit. Targamas smartly swept them away. And they tried to get some kind of vision while G2 was on the siege. He snuck around the side, tried to get wards down, but Targamas swept the majority away. Vitality don't really find anything in that play. They don't get any vision control, but for now, Alphari will push out bot.
We'll also highlight this ward that they have in the bottom right as well. This
just
control ward
just moved it.
Just moved
to
the blue buff.
The blue buff, yeah.
Okay, well, I was going to say that could also have been a flank opportunity if they saw BrokenBlade there. Maybe they could commit a member or two to set up that play, especially with Dragon spawning in about 34 seconds. But regardless, that play no longer an option. The reset coming through from Alphari. GA, second item. Wants to just provide as much survivability, stalling power, and be as obnoxious as possible in the team fights that are coming up. Flakked will likely be his primary target, or maybe he just wants to keep Caps locked up as much as possible, but Alphari's job and responsibility is not to deal as much damage, but just to be annoying.
Yeah, 10 seconds on that Dragon that both teams want to fight, and Caps has been really struggling in fights. He's 2 levels down right now, level 12. Flakked's level 13. It feels like for now, G2, if you want to put your eyes on a carry, it's Flakked. He's the one who has to outplay these team fights, keep them alive, get the resets, and start to move forwards.
Put your eyes on BrokenBlade as well, because he might be caught out here by Alphari. Counter-strike used. Hexagon made him use to dodge it. On towards the backline goes Selfmade, onto the shadows. Flakked now isolated from the rest of the team as Caps tries to jump in. Jankos going in there as well, and Selfmade is down. Jankos almost falls as well, and he will to the final shuriken. Carzzy now builds up the hula hoop of death, but can't find his mark. Counter-strike stopping those auto attacks, and now Carzzy can gale force forward. Shuriken's falling off once again and regained by Caps. Carzzy flashes, looks for Flakked, can't quite get the damage. The sentries go down. The long-range shot only onto BrokenBlade, and Caps is able to escape. Alphari spared up, looking for the hookshot wall dive. Caps now falls. Where is BrokenBlade going to find an entry back into this fight? He's channeling that recall. He can TP back in.
Looks like both these teams just hesitant to fight. It felt like Alphari had to use his ult to disengage, then Selfmade had to use his ult to peel as well. Caps died with the Zilean ult up. BrokenBlade TPing back in. The charm does miss. 3 versus 3 for now. 3 versus 4, sorry. Alphari starting up the Dragon. No smite on Vitality.
Jankos and Selfmade both just respawned, making their way towards the Dragon.
Looking for the damage. Alphari still has that GA. Remember, Targamas is popped. Shut down by Carzzy. Now BrokenBlade on the retreat. Instead dives back in. But he hasn't got a GA of his own. Can he survive through the onslaught of Vitality? Carzzy, Gravitum, Severum. Not the best guns for this situation. He would have wanted the white guns, and now Carzzy, that gun management will not pay off for him right now. BrokenBlade gets in, gets down Labrov. Selfmade tries to join the fight. Perkz does the same, but they just can't get in there. And Carzzy will be shut down by BrokenBlade. G2 kept the fight going, and in the end, they win it out.
Yeah, it was a moment of hope for Vitality with the numbers advantage, but like you said, in comes Jankos, in comes Caps. They're able to win out. It was the new rookies kind of G2 and Flakked and Targamas standing tall next to BrokenBlade. 3 versus 4 for a little bit. Caps re-arrives, in comes Jankos, and they shut down Labrov before he can use his ultimate. That was the most pivotal point of that fight going in G2's favor.
The fact that both junglers died is what made that Dragon fight so awkward. No smite was available, but Alphari, he doesn't have anything to overcommit. The ultimate is back up. Perkz has the ulti as well. They're going to try and provide interference.
Charm from Perkz onto Caps. Everfrost used as well, but Vitality cannot answer as G2 will take the Baron. Cloud sold theirs as well, a 5,000 gold lead, and remember, an open inhibitor in that top lane.
So keep an eye on both junglers here, because Hecarim is going to aim to shut down the Jinx, whereas Jankos is going to immediately dive onto Carzzy. And because they isolate themselves, that's what makes this a little bit awkward as a fight. So you can see the Hecarim dives in onto the backline, and there, the Targamas knock up into the Jankos dive, but they can't quite get any kills, so both junglers end up falling, and then we end in this extended brawl.
Yeah, and I feel like here, Vitality's communication is Carzzy, play more aggressive. Labrov has ult, he has speed, he has everything you need to just walk forwards and just carry this fight. So you can see Carzzy's hesitant, but then he flashes forwards on a full HP Jinx, doesn't get any damage. Alphari solidifies the engage by just going onto Caps, who blunders a bit here. He could just ult himself, but he gets stunned up and ends up falling. And this is the point of the fight where it looks Vitality favored.
It certainly does, but then the TP comes through. Perkz ends up missing the charm, and all they're doing is buying time for the junglers to get back into the fight. Labrov does still have his ultimate available, is forced to flash out here. The exchange in a 3 versus 4 looks once again really good for Vitality, but this is the turnaround.
Yeah, they proc the GA of Alphari. The fight just continues non-stop. In comes Jankos, in comes Selfmade, and this is where I think the most pivotal point happens. Jankos flashes onto Labrov. He doesn't have much mana. Maybe he has enough for ultimate, I can't quite tell, but he stuns, he dies. No Zilean ult. If they could use that, maybe they could buy time. Carzzy's out of mana. The fight's been going on for so long that there's no mana bars left on Vitality.
And because of that, G2 get the Cloud Soul, they get the Baron. They have a 5,000 gold lead in there, looking towards the Nexus here. Everfrost into Charm. Double bomb as well on BrokenBlade. Moonlight Vigil coming up, but he's going to pop the stopwatch. Vitality continuing to hold this one back onto the shadows. Where's the chase? Where's the follow-up from the rest of Vitality? BrokenBlade locked up. Targamas gets onto the back line with the quickness. Alphari looking for the flank, but Carzzy's already down. BrokenBlade has a chrono shift, and underneath the tower, he will be brought back. 2 quick kills over to G2 as they look for more underneath the Nexus towers. Maybe a little bit deep from them, but the inhibitor, their next focus.
Back-to-back games, it's G2 coming out on top in the team fight, but it's BrokenBlade that is leading the way for G2. They're looking to go 2-0 up in this best of 5.
Perkz has always said his comfort zone is 1 and 2. At the moment, he can't even get that single win. Stormbringer used. Jankos underneath the towers as the domination happens for Flakked. Jankos takes out Selfmade. Perkz forced back to the fountain, and all he can do is stand and watch as his base is destroyed, and he goes 0-2 down against G2.
Woo, match point now for G2, and this was a game where Caps really couldn't find his way into fights. The ultimate taking was the most important thing, and that's what he's trying to do in these fights, but he was very behind. This was a G2 without Caps almost in these fights, and they were still coming out on top. It felt like BrokenBlade was like the shield, and Flakked was the spear.
There was so much going on that, you know, you weren't talking a lot about Flakked, but his consistent damage throughout the fights was definitely noticeable. His scoreline at the end really represented that as well. Targamas with so many great engages. The G2 mid-game right now seems to be just stronger across the board than what we're seeing from Vitality and how they're punishing. And this time G2 got the early lead, and there were very few times where we saw them really give it away.
Yeah, you could see it from the towers alone. There was almost like a 4 or 5 tower lead to G2 before Vitality even got there first. Map movements were so good, despite Vitality having that mid-push. A lot of early game blunders in the top side by Vitality just kind of gave so much late game insurance on the Jacks for G2 that they just couldn't find their way back in.
And even though Vitality were able to find a few hero moments, you know, 2v2 kill in the bottom lane, Perkz playing well in the mid lane, getting the push from time to time, they couldn't string them together into a sizable lead. G2 take the win and move to match point in the series over Team Vitality. As we head to the break, let's take a look at what's on the line for Rogue and Fnatic tomorrow.